Good evening. And welcome. Can you hear me? I don't think you can. We're going to go... Oh, you can hear me. Great. Good evening. And welcome to Lord Gugu's stream. Consider becoming a subscriber today to access the exclusive Stephen Sondheim Twitch emote. Tonight's performance of Musical Theater is Good Actually will run approximately 90 minutes with one intermission, and tonight the role of guest will be played by Max Mayer. Please take this time to silence your cell phone and note all emergency exits. And please, make sure that Box 5 remains open for the horribly disfigured musical genius, or else he will surely murder us all. Now please enjoy Musical Theater is Good, Actually.
Musical theater is good, actually. I think that musicals are actually good. And though I know that you might disagree, I think that musical theater is good. Actually,
We're back! We're back! Shout-outs to Harrison, Mind Sugar 666, aka, there he is. Oh, and now a sub. Thank you to Cinnamon Challenge and our guest Max Mayer for the sub. This shirt, Bubbling Queen and Harrison, my new neighbors, if that I'll get to enjoy as my neighbors if it's ever not a nightmare out. Everybody, I'm so excited to be back. I did work on the stream, really just today. I was going to do work the entire weeks, but I mean, we had the amazing marathon. That was incredible. There were so many people that just hung out for so long. I couldn't believe it. It was so great, and I found a way to cajole people into watching musicals, and that was great. So I added a bunch of sound alerts. I think I added 4 new sound alerts that you should be able to see if you scroll below on Twitch. It was there earlier, and I was testing it, and I believe it works. So if you want to do those, there's a couple that I put a premium on because they are long, but they're worth it, I think. So if you want to get into that, but also who cares? We're just going to hang out and have a good time. That's enough pre-roll here. I'm so excited for our guest. Unfortunately, we do not have our guest on video, but who cares? It's going to be a great fun time. And so, without further ado, I'm so excited to welcome to the show a fellow Twitch streamer, a musician, and most importantly, your friend. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Max Mayer. Max! There you are. He is the phantom of the Twitch stream.
is good, actually.
Oh, welcome.
May I help you?
Welcome to the theater. I have a new This is a new background. I used this for the marathon, but no more of another nameless musicals background that I was or set that I was on. Never mind that, Max. Welcome here. The normal greeting.
Thank you. It's great to be here, and it's great to be with you. I'm honored.
I am so excited to have you here. I think the genesis of this was, I believe, on the last Jack Age stream before the holidays that you were on with Jack, and somehow, I guess you guys were playing GTA or whatever, and you were talking about Phantom of the Opera, and I think I was I had it on, and I was somewhere else in my apartment, and I like ran across my entire apartment to to like run into the chat and be like, Max, do you want to be on Musical Theater is Good Actually?
Well, I'm honored, and you picked the right guy for this one. I love this one.
Oh.
This is also, it's one of the only ones I've ever known.
That's amazing. So, and we'll get into like the specifics of the show later, but just to like give like my brief background is that I had actually never seen Phantom. I hadn't even seen
Or heard.
Well, I'd heard, of course, like the bigger songs and a lot of the songs, but when I was like getting into musicals and even Andrew Lloyd Webber, it wasn't the show that grabbed me. Like there was a couple songs, but like I can't just sit down and listen to the soundtrack of it in the same way that I can like Evita or Jesus Christ Superstar or something.
Right.
But I never, and also I have like I'm weird about, I like to wait to see a show if I can. So, like, I don't want to spoiler myself in a way. Well, like, after I see a show, then I'm more interested in going back and listening and, like, revisiting it.
Dude, I was thinking about that while I was watching this. I was like, I so wish I could just have that part of my brain removed so this could be fresh. That would be fucking... Because I loved it. I haven't seen it since I was a kid, and it still blew my mind, but I know all the pieces of the story, and the music I know. Imagine, like, taking all of that into... I don't know if I've ever... Have I ever? But anyway, that's you're right. That's great.
Well,
I like that.
And I was just like, I thought it was going to be kind of one thing, and it was so much weirder than that. And I was happy for it. I loved how weird it was.
Yes,
but
yes.
we have to put it aside for now. We will definitely get into Phantom, but we need to back up here. Because, so the first thing that we do, and thank you to everybody that's watching, if this is your first time watching or your first like proper show watching, we like to, with our new guests, start off with the musical theater quiz, which is to give your background, see like where you're coming from here, and yeah, what your history and thoughts, just, you know, your basic takes,
all right,
before we launch into it.
Let's do this.
Okay, so first question. This is just the basic taking of the temperature here, to give us a baseline of where we're starting from. What statement do you agree with more? Musical theater is the pinnacle of human achievement as the purest and most complete synthesis of all art and performance?
Mm-hmm.
Or musical theater is an abomination before God and man and destroying us as a society and human race? Of the two statements, which do you think are closer to the truth?
I gotta go with A. I think it's A.
Okay, good. I mean, and I don't hold it against...
B is too mean. B is so mean.
There's been at least one person that's answered B, and that's also one of like my best friends, so it's funny. I mean, he was mostly was kind of a troll.
Get rid of him. Get rid of him.
You hear that, Alex? If you're watching, and if you're watching the VOD, Max says get rid of you. You're out. No, he's great. Alex did our pre-show and break music. We love Alex. We love Alex here.
Okay, good.
No, but I mean, there are like I think you can make the case. Hey, welcome, Continental Saya. Thanks for the follow. You can make the case. I wouldn't want to. I always say that statement. I mean, I obviously frame this in a very leading way on purpose. This question. But I always say that I unironically believe statement A. That's my full opinion on musicals.
You know what, though? And I don't know if this is going to come up later in the quiz, but I will say, if there is an argument for the people who say B, what's the word for it when they're slightly singing? Just like they have lines that aren't really part of any song.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
well, like recitative is like I think a musical term or something like that,
yes,
where it's like kind of
that might be it. And
yeah, Bingen.
That's kind of like it's kind of like they do it in every musical, and at some point, just like notes without context like that can sound like almost any. It seems like that should be the easiest part to write, even though some of it is great in this. In how it's very creepy, but anyway, that's easy to make fun of, and that's the closest argument I can see for the haters.
Well,
as I experience this musical.
So to me, the reason that I think like musical theater has a like such a high degree of kind of difficulty is it's like sort of like a puzzle box inside a puzzle box, and it's like you have like the song has to suit like that whatever it's trying to say in that moment and that scene or whatever, but then also you're composing an entire show, and the show itself is should have like a whole kind of musical flow to it that, and so it's kind of so like to your point, like when there are sort of those like that's what the one that we watched on the marathon was Titanic, which has a lot of it's actually kind of cool because what they sing like the historical record stuff, like this, it's like first class passengers proceed to the await further instructions. It's like that's like literally how it goes, but so there's but like so sometimes you want to like choose to do that for a reason, but you have to think about what the entire work is too.
Right.
But do you consider yourself a full musical lover, or is it like something
I do. I even embrace recitative. I was just giving the haters an option. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I always love to take my option.
I embrace it all. I embrace it as the whole everybody. They brought out the lyricist at the end. I said, yes, give this man or woman or non-binary person their dues right away. Mm-hmm. And what is it? The the other folks that do all the shit. I mean, because so Andrew Lloyd Webber just writes the music.
Yeah.
And then there's 5 other people I saw there.
Yeah, he almost always works with a lyricist. My favorites that he does, Jesus Christ Superstar and Evita were both with Tim Rice, the great Tim Rice. Also did the Lion King lyrics, I believe, and right, maybe that's not right. And Beauty and wait, or no, am I talking out of my ass? What's the Disney ones he did? Somebody Google this.
Who gives a shit?
But he also did Chess, which is another great. Do you know Chess, Max?
No.
You should check out Chess. It's so the composers are the 2 guys from ABBA.
That's cool.
And then Tim Rice does the lyrics, and it's got some really, really great rock numbers, and it's basically an opera, and it's like a Cold War like story that's like told in this like international chess championship kind of, and it's like Cold War era, like, and that's when it came out, was like early 1980s. So
okay. I was just thinking, all those people, all the lyricists and the I don't think what is it? What is it other than the lyricist? I saw a couple other people.
So you have,
and I'm seeing,
you have the book writer, which is the script, like the play, like the non-sung parts. And that's the 3 that are like going to be like, so it's the composer, lyricist, and book writer. Now sometimes the composer and the lyricist are the same.
Sneaky little devil.
Doing a brief little Stephen Sondheim vision. That's my guy. But he's,
just do you ever think there's somebody on the stage that's like Andrew Lloyd Webber gets to be the man? Well, like I'm the phantom of this opera.
He's quite a figure. He's definitely a genius. I don't know. He's kind of a famously cruel composer, especially to women, by which I mean he writes unsingable parts. Like Evita is like, you actually like can't do it. Like you can do it like once healthily, and then your voice is destroyed.
Dude, I hate to keep talking about the end of this show that we watched, mm-hmm. because Andrew Lloyd Webber comes out, and then all the like previous casts come out and do their stuff, and his wife, he calls her like his angel of music.
Sarah Brightman. Yep.
Yeah, Sarah Brightman comes out, and she can barely do it. She does a great job, but mm-hmm. This is ridiculous stuff to do.
Yeah, when we watched that, I said to my wife, I was like, it's like that when you see Mariah Carey perform now, and it's like you're remembering how good she was. Like, remember when it was like 1993 though? It's like, oh yeah, okay.
Unbelievable.
Right. So Sarah Brightman's kind of the same thing. Also, like, she's not all there because she's been married to Andrew Lloyd Webber or whatever, and I think that he's just anyway. Andrew Lloyd Webber is a fascinating, but
He's the angel of darkness.
Specifically, so Patti LuPone, who was Evita, the original Evita on Broadway at least, her memoir is one of my favorite, like the best celebrity memoir. You have to listen to the audiobook, anybody. I recommend this, I think, every episode. And she talks a lot in there, a lot of shit in there about Andrew Lloyd Webber, specifically, like when she was doing Evita, like she literally was like vocal rest the rest of her life. Like she would just like get to the theater like 4 hours early and like sleep and like have a blanket around her and like just not talk, and then just like come out of her cocoon, sing her like 2.5 hour show that destroyed her voice, and then just not speak again until the next show. Like, wow. That's how she like had to kind of do it. And then also he fucked her over because she was like had a whole big contract where she was supposed to originate the role of Norma Desmond in Andrew Lloyd Webber's Sunset Boulevard musical. Do you know that musical at all?
No, but I should check it out.
Yeah, I'm actually not that familiar with it either. But
oh, okay.
But so she originated it on London. I think got like great notices, and then was expecting to go to Broadway. But then like there was like some LA like kind of like concerts and stuff, and then like Glenn Close started horning in, and then Patti LuPone's like, "What the fuck's going on?" And then like sure enough, like underhanded, like just announced in the press without telling Patti LuPone and like breaking her contract, like, no, Glenn Close is going to open it on Broadway. And so she got to sue Andrew Lloyd Webber for a lot of money, and then she put in a pool in her house that she called the Andrew Lloyd Webber pool, because that's how much money she got from the settlement.
He sounds like such a piece of fucking foul shit. He has like that potential air about him, like
oh yeah. He's one of those you just look at him and you get the whole sense. You know what I mean? You're like,
He also like, he made this musical. I don't know if he like came up with the concept for it or not.
Well, yeah, I did a bit of research. I mean, I did 5 minutes on Wikipedia, but we are again too excited to talk about Phantom. I mean, it's one of the biggest shows ever, longest running show on Broadway. Yes. But we need to continue.
Let's stick to the format.
Let's stick with the quiz here. What is your musical theater archetype, your musical theater character type? Because there's only like a few different types of characters in any musical. Are you?
Give me a couple types here.
Here we go. I'm going to list them. I got to list a bunch here. We got, are you an ingenue? Are you a villain? Are you a sidekick / friend? Are you a character actor / comic relief / old? Or are you other, and then specify?
This takes me back to my own history of musical theater.
Well, let's get into that as well. I want to hear it.
Okay. Sadly, it was the last thing I ever did. But when I was in, I want to say 3rd grade, I played the farmer in Charlotte's Web. And I had one line actually, and in fact, that it was just like 5 words. But I literally brought the fucking house down. And let me get into this. So first of all, you know how like at the assemblies at like elementary schools and stuff, like you'll be awarded like Student of the Month or some shit, and then your parent puts the fucking sticker on the fucking card. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Sure. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, the point is, I was never that person or student. Nobody fucking gave a shit about Little Max Mayer at school. But because of this performance in Charlotte's Web, at the assembly they called my name. Fucking, I forget what the fucking, I got a little award or some shit. And the line in the play was, get along, little piggies. And the thing is that like I was like 7 or 8, and I fucking nailed it, and it was like kind of comedic timing, and I guess I was a funny fat little kid. Everybody laughed. It's part of my identity to this day somehow. And I got the fucking award, and my parents were like, "Wow, we're so proud." And I was like, "This fucking one line in a play." It was a sympathy thing, perhaps. In any case, that was the last time I participated in the theater.
You peaked. You couldn't. It wasn't going to get better than that.
Really early, unfortunately. But So to answer this question, I would be the comic relief. I'd be the comic relief little actor that comes in as like, oh, I fucking hit my nuts,
Yeah,
Oh,
totally. Oh,
ow,
you'd kill.
oh.
I could also see you as like, I mean, well, it's sometimes they're also the comic relief, but a great villain role I also love, and that they're also like the most fun to play too. But you're too nice though, maybe Max. Probably too nice.
Oh, maybe
to
I'd be a nice friend,
Yeah,
a sidekick, perhaps.
there you go. Oh yeah. Do you know? I keep saying, do you know this musical? You're like, no, and it's fine. But do you know Mana La Mancha?
No, fuck no.
That's
But let
a
me
great
tell you
show.
about a musical I do know.
Okay.
Because I just came up with this idea. Lord of the Rings, the musical, I will be Samwise.
They have tried to do it. They've done
Really?
like full tryouts and it hasn't really worked. Actually, I think
Damn.
there was relatively recently a King Kong the musical on Broadway, and they workshopped that for years before it got to Broadway too. And that same creative team, I think, did the Lord of the Rings. They did like a full like trilogy of like. Actually, I think
Would it honor Howard Shore's score?
No, it was completely
Maybe that's for the
its own
best.
thing. No, I mean it's gonna be. I would rather just hear the. Yeah, I mean I think that they even tried to do like I can't remember if it was like 3 different shows and you would go like Angels in America style and go like multiple nights in a row or do like a marathon in a whole day, or if it was so condensed and it was like 3 acts but like each act was an hour and a half or something, so even still it's like forever long. Still it would be way too condensed. I don't know how you do it, but I could see it.
But and Man of La Mancha,
Yeah, I would
putting it on the list.
I would see you as a great Sancho Panza. That's the comic relief
Oh, great.
sidekick role for
Okay.
Don Quixote. Bubbling Queen says she would love to play Gollum. All right, we'll cast everybody. Cast the rest of Slurp Fam in the.
Gollum would have a beautiful lament
Look
to
there.
break all hearts.
Who's Jack playing in our Lord of the Rings musical? Is he-
Jack is also playing Gollum.
Let's say maybe he's Frodo if you're Sam, because he's
Yeah,
smaller than
yeah.
you and you can carry him on your back. And
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right.
Proportionally, I guess this is fine, actually.
Okay. How do you musical theater? So what's your primary method of consumption? So like how often, if you are, sitting down to watch a movie, are you like, I'll put on a musical, or like I'll want to listen to a certain musical soundtrack, or are there contexts where you do, or how often do you go to see musical theater? What do you do in there in that musical theater world?
Okay, I'm all over the place, but let me talk about when I sit down to see a movie. How often do I want to see a musical? Never. It's not on my radar because honestly, for me to want to watch a musical, it has to be recommended to me to the point of being shoved down my throat. I don't know why, but it's just like I guess it's not exactly what I think of when I think movies. But okay. When I was growing up, we actually had a tape of Phantom of the Opera, the only musical I know, and we listened to the shit out of it in my parents' car. And so at some point, my mom took me to see it at like a local off Broadway something,
Or like the tour?
and it was I loved it, and I was really young, and then so I don't remember too much, but we saw the actors in the street afterwards, and I got their autograph or something. And anyway, my mom, me, great little memory.
Yeah. Well, isn't that cool though?
So
that
I
like,
always loved the music.
I was just gonna say that like that's my favorite thing about theater is like, you went that one time when you were so little and stuff, and it's like and I always say that like all this effort has to go up, especially for fucking Phantom of the Opera. Jesus Christ, man, this is like the biggest show ever, and like so much effort, even for even like a minimalist musical that's just like piano and a few actors or whatever. It takes.
I forgot I actually played drums in this stupid musical at a fringe.
I was
festival.
gonna ask if you ever have been in any pits.
Yeah, it was actually a lot of fucking work. It was too much fucking work, and I got paid decently, but it wasn't enough for how much fucking work. It was a lot of work.
Yeah, no, you'll find that in a lot of like, regional theater, like off-Broadway theater. I mean, and like that, or especially like non-union kind of, the musicians are almost always like treated better and paid better than like all of the actors. Tends to be the case because like it is like you have to sit in a like little dark cramped space or something, and then you have to play the exact same thing and the exact same way. If you like deviate, like it fucks everything up. So you have to play like exactly
correct,
the same.
Yeah. And that's exactly right, and it was squished. And I'm a large man, but it was fun though. It was kind of fun. So
yeah. Well, anyway, I was just like to like that. So much effort. Yeah, there's just like so many people and all the stage managers and
right.
everybody, like all the tech and just to like make that happen, and then it's like done, and then that's it for that, and then you just have to do it again the next day and every day. But then you still have this memory, like here, however decades later, that you still like remember this night, and I just think like that's to me that's why I love the theater. That's when I get really corny about it. Is like this totally ephemeral thing that's just like gone, and then that's
you hold
so on to that
wonderful
memory.
that you understand this. So, but to answer your question, how do I musical theater? Well, I watch it, I go out to see it, I listen to it, I love it, I perform in it, I live it, I love it, I like it.
Okay.
Next question, motherfuckers.
All right. Well, then, on that note, in terms of musicals, what musical do you think should be? And I know you have an extensive knowledge of many musicals. So, what musical do you think should be more popular or beloved, and which should be less popular?
I think Man of La Mancha should be less popular for one.
You're just bullying me now.
Well, okay, let me just say this about Phantom of the Opera. The other one I know about is that people talk a lot of shit on this growing up. Like, I feel like Andrew Lloyd Webber gets a lot of shit talked on him. Apparently, he's a terrible evil man, so God bless him.
I don't know if he's evil. He's just kind of a prick.
He's fucked up. He's fucked up. We're all fucked up. But, we're not like Harvey Weinstein's like this Andrew Lloyd Webber, am I right?
I do not endorse or not endorse the statement. I played the fifth.
Being, okay, so I guess give the Phantom of the Opera its fair due for one, but also I don't know. I don't know anything. I guess just Jesus Christ Superstar is like the best musical of all time. Everybody should understand that probably, or at least not be too mad about somebody saying something like that. Is that true to you?
So don't be mad. No. I love Jesus Christ Superstar,
but it's not even a top 10 for you.
I love it as it was originally presented as a concept album. I think it's an amazing album and a great.
Is that the original cast?
Yeah, the first recording of it was just on an album as like a concept album, and then it was huge.
I love that original cast,
and
I love that original cast.
Right. So, and I think that the stagings of it that are the best are the ones that are kind of staged to be rock concerts. But I think that as a show, it doesn't really necessarily hold together the best as like a satisfying narrative, which I know is funny. It's like the story of Jesus isn't a satisfying narrative, but it's because like it, and it besides like a few numbers, I don't know. It's just I love it.
Can I tell you, as the most Reformed Jew of all time, the most I ever learned about Jesus Christ was through Jesus Christ Superstar. So to me, it's literally educational. I knew nothing about that person. I don't know anything about anything in general.
And another part of it is that I also am I wouldn't be surprised if Andrew Lloyd Webber was on the Epstein flight logs binging games. That would not.
Right.
I mean, he's very close with the royal family. He is a OBE, is a Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, of course.
Maybe you're going to get canceled for not endorsing my statement earlier.
I didn't not endorse it. I'm just not engaging it.
You're going to delete this VOD, and that's fine.
What the fuck are we even talking about? So Jesus Christ Superstar. I also so I do like it, but I also love, and this is a controversial statement that people hate on, a show that I hate on that I like quite a bit, is Godspell. I think is also beautiful, and I mean it's completely different approach to Jesus. But what I will say that
interesting.
What I will say that Godspell
make some notes here.
What I will say that Godspell has on Jesus Christ Superstar is Jesus' song when he's in the temple, flipping over the tables and shit, to the priest. I think it's better in Godspell because it's just kind of tossed in Jesus Christ Superstar. It's not as much of a focal point. That's interesting. Yeah, I like that. And that's always the part of the Jesus Christ narrative that I identify with the most, when he's just getting really mad at capitalists that are heretics and screaming and throwing things. That's always the Jesus that I most identify with.
That's fun. Just before while it's in my mind, one of my favorite things about Phantom of the Opera is that they're just there's a lot of really vicious yelling and screaming.
Well,
I like when the characters get really explosive.
I really what I loved was at first I was what are these sort of backstage scenes? I was these are so weird. And then I got what Andrew Lloyd Webber's doing is he's putting the scale of the opera, which is where they start you in is in one of their operas that they do at the company.
Yeah.
And so they're bringing that scale to backstage drama. So they're rah, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I think, is there anything else to say there? No, let's just move on. Okay, now this is the last question of our musical quiz, and I think I'm going to have to explain this term to you.
Okay.
In the musical of your life, what are you singing as your 11 o'clock number? Now, the 11 o'clock number is got its name because that was literally would be the time originally on Broadway, because they would take really long intermissions where people would get hammered or whatever. It was the 60s. And the 50s and 60s, they were drunk all the time. So it would be 11 o'clock, and that's the main character or whoever kind of takes to the stage, usually by themselves, and sings this heart-wrenching song that's summing up everything or whatever. I always bring up Rose's turn in Gypsy, which is her singing at the end of Gypsy. But what if there was a musical of your life, and then this is your song that you're singing to sum it up? It doesn't have to be a musical song. It could be, a real song from pop music, or it can be a song that doesn't even exist, and it'd be it would be a song like this. But what are you singing as your 11 o'clock number?
Oh man, it's really fucked up that you put me with the fucking phantom mask and shit, because honestly I was watching some of this and I'm I am the monster. It's me. It is I, the angel in the darkness. Me. I don't know. That's dude. Have there been really solid answers to this question so far? Because this is a big one.
I don't know. Sometimes
this is a big one.
What's the song that's your? Koth is giving us some gold here in the chat. What are what's a song that you're this song is me? It can even just be that this is me in a song, and it can be a rock song or any kind of song.
It would have to be Cali Dro by Birdman. No. I'm looking through my Spotify.
That's played.
Shit, dude, this is such a fucking. This is.
You are. I would accept pass as well.
What's that?
I said, if you want to pass, I don't care.
This one is hard, dude. This one. Okay, there's a song called shit. There's a song called "Alone Again." I'm trying to think of by Gilbert O'Sullivan.
Oh, okay.
Go fucking have a cry to that one.
That's great, and that's the total energy that you want for this. You want something that's like, I've learned, and you're emotionally wrecked in the audience, but like you're grown as a person, and the audience is watching it. They're like, yeah, I've grown too from watching your story.
Yeah, that one's gonna fuck your ass up.
Perfect. You nailed it then. You nailed it.
Thank you.
Okay, take a breath. We are going to take a short little 5-minute break here, everybody.
Intermission.
We have to. It's theater. We have to have intermission. We're just like trying to replicate as much theater as we can because there is no theater. In fact, there's a sound alert about that if people want to play that. But I also, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I feel bad begging for bits. I am just excited to hear some of these sound
Don't feel
alerts.
bad.
I don't really
feel
need
bad.
the bits. I just want to hear the sound alerts. But wait on that because we're gonna be back in like 5 minutes. So don't go anywhere.
You know what? You should be able to throw roses onto the stage with bits.
Oh, now see that's good. We can have virtual roses that you can spend bits and it will do like a shower of roses on the entire screen. All right, that's in the works now. That's officially in the works. Okay, well, yeah, everybody just hang out for like 5 minutes and we will be right back. We're back! Woo, we're back up. How was your break, Max? All good?
It was good.
Great. Wow. Thank you for the sub, my brother.
Tiny
right.
Rick.
That's my brother. He's the Tiny Rick from Rick and Morty. So, Phantom of the Opera, the longest running show in Broadway history, and that's not like some meaningless statistic. That is just about the most meaningful statistic in a lot of ways.
That's so this is the fucking GOAT.
Yeah, and so and do you want to know who it was before? Like who Phantom of the Opera, who held the record before them?
I already know.
Do you?
Man of La Mancha.
No. Yes, no. I wish, man. It's a great show.
Was it close?
No, not at all. It was another It was another Andrew Lloyd Webber. Maybe I'll see if you can guess it. Another Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. And it's not
Cats?
Jesus Christ Superstar. Yes. It was Cats. So
that's crazy because Cats sucks, right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Cats notoriously sucks.
I kind of have a soft spot for Cats. I mean, watching this show, and I enjoyed this a lot, but I saw a lot of similarities to Cats, actually. And the big difference is there's a clear narrative.
Holy shit, the chat is pissed at me.
Double neg.
How do I turn this
Double neg
around?
and Binging Games. No. Let me tell you. Have you seen the recording of Cats that they did? Not the movie, the one from 97 or 98.
In fact, okay, and this goes back to the quiz part. I feel like I'm generally introduced to something with the excuse me, I'm high as balls. I'm generally introduced to musical theater.
Everybody,
by the
Max is in
soundtrack.
California. It's fine.
Yeah, it's calm down. These guys are pissed at me.
Hey,
and I'll prove myself.
Everybody be nice to Max. It's okay. We welcome all
right.
opinions
I'm a
here.
fucking idiot, and I'm talking some shit. Now, so all I know about Cats is that I listened to it all on Spotify, and I was like, this is some wacky ass shit.
So
is that? Yeah.
So here's what I'll say. Get irresponsibly high even for you. Think about what that level is, and then even push it probably a little bit even past that. Just as far as you can go, put on Cats and tell me you don't have the best time. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. Of course, it's absolutely ridiculous. And to me, the what's always the most ridiculous part of it is that everyone involved is so insanely talented. Like, these are all people who have, like, you know,
I love that.
worked and studied their entire lives and, like, devoted so much.
And getting back to quickly part of the quiz as well, and I'm going to get back to what you're saying here, is that what's the beauty of, like, all that effort and stuff that goes into it, that's all part of this blueprint that you can put into any theater with different and like it has it gives you new tones and colors and shapes and every you know, and every cast is so wonderful, and that's part of the magic of the theater, but
I mean, you're speaking my language. So this is all stuff I say. Like, and I always say that that's my, and musical theater especially. I mean, like, it's not like, you know, a movie where it's like, oh, they're remaking that. It's like, oh, wow, they're remaking that. So it's because it's been like, you know, 15 years since it was last done in a major way, and now, oh, this big actor of this generation now is going to do it, and it's like, that's always really exciting. It's like they're these living, like,
yeah,
and that's why, like, so much, like, you have, like, I know, for, like, how a typical, or at least at this era, how a show came together, you know, where you would have an out-of-town tryout, or you would have a few workshops to, like, try, because it's, like, it's tough to, like, get these pieces together. You have to see it on its feet, you have to hear it, you have to, and it's these huge, and you're talking about entire scenes, entire characters and subplots that get lost between drafts and stuff like that. So all this effort to get to this finished product that opens on Broadway, whatever. So to your point, that, yeah, that can then get taken, and for decades and decades since, you know, then another company, another director does another, you know, designer and creative team does a whole different take on it or something. And so it's like this really cool, except not so much Phantom, because Andrew Lloyd Webber is much more controlling of Phantom. It's not as the rights.
Interesting.
The rights aren't as available.
Best?
There's like some like educational, I think, productions can do it now, but like you don't really. You do like tours that are like licensed, like that are the, you know, through whatever his what is it, Really Useful or whatever it's called, his company, but yeah, not in the way that like Jesus Christ Superstar or Evita, you know, you might see more productions of, or certainly even Cats. Yeah. Now here's another one.
So,
while we're talking about, because this is like, so this is a whole era for Andrew Lloyd Webber. That like this is his mega musical era. It was kind of started with Cats. Cats was kind of the one.
What is that, late 70s?
No, that's, so Cats would be 80 something. I'm already on Wikipedia here. Let's see. Cats.
I'll have to listen to Cats. Thinking about these.
Yeah,
you're saying that.
So
these like they're insanely talented, and I don't know.
1981. And that was in London. That was the London premiere. And then on Broadway.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Broadway was 1982, so very early 80s. And then after that, there's another Andrew Lloyd Webber show that another one that I haven't seen the whole thing of, but just it tickles me so much. Are you familiar with a little show called Starlight Express?
No, but it sounds very familiar.
Hang on. Actually, no. We're gonna actually watch. This is not the first time I will have played this exact video. I played this on the during the
looks
marathon.
Super familiar.
So hang on. Let me get us ready here. Hang on a second. Yeah, everybody, I'm doing stuff on the fly. It's great. There we go. All right. Okay. Here, let's see how this goes.
When your good nights have been said and you are lying in bed.
Oh, wait. Hang on a second. Sorry, Max. Let me share this with you on Discord. Wait, where's our... Oh, yeah.
I could just watch it through the stream.
But you'll be delayed and it'll sound insane. So hang on just one second. I will... Okay. There you go. So now it's in Discord there for you, so you can watch it live with me. All right.
How'd you thank you?
uptight. And though you count every sheep, you get the feeling that sleep is gonna stay away.
Actually, I haven't watched this exact clip. So this is a musical. Let me turn it down a bit. This is a musical, Max, that's about roller skating trains. They're trains.
Roller skating trains?
They're anthropomorphic trains.
Okay, so they went crazier than Cats for this.
And they perform it entirely on roller skates to be the trains.
So was this after Cats?
Yes. Yes, this was, let's see. Where does it come in the chronology? This was, this was two shows after. This was 1984. And then Phantom of the Opera is the next major one that he did after this.
Crazy.
I'm not counting the
So
bad
how's
ones.
the music for this?
It's honestly very good. I really like this song. Actually, I want to find the...
Yeah, this sounds pretty good.
So, the Tony Awards
Crazy.
performance. This
Look,
is...
you can't out crazy me, you know? You think you can throw me with some crazy shit? You're not gonna throw me.
Oh, no, this is...
I'm following you.
Here, we'll watch the whole Tony Awards
Following you,
performance, because I really love it. I'm going to turn it up.
Within you. Just believe in yourself, the sea will part before you. Stop the
Look.
rain, turn the tide.
I mean...
It's very funny. It's extremely funny.
Use the power within you. Lead and beg the world to turn around and help you. If you draw
And I'm pretty sure that actor is Michael Crawford. Is it Michael Crawford? Because it's another one of Andrew Lloyd Webber's.
Oh, are they gonna fuck?
No, he's like a father figure, kind of the one to the other, and he's like younger, and he's going off to. So Starlight Express is like not just a train; it's like a international train competition of like who's the best or fastest train. I think. Again, I haven't seen it.
I've seen like animated versions of this. I feel like.
I mean, I would
This
see an
might not
animated
be-
version of this. All right, so let's watch. Just like this is when everybody comes on the stage. Here we go.
is for unbelievers. Electricity is wrong. Steam has got the power that will pull us along. We see the light.
Now they're all roller skating, folks.
All right, it's a hard sell. It's a hard sell, but that's okay.
And look at this like bowl that they've had crafted. Like,
Yeah, they got
It's
a
like-
pie tin, crazy UFO going.
yeah, and there's like a track and a
Wow.
catwalk that goes above it and stuff too. It's like a fucking Hot Wheels track. It's totally insane. So, look at them in the top.
Look,
This
the
is
music
insane.
though is excellent.
I mean, he knows how to like find the melody, like the one hook, and just like drill it. And sometimes his songs are one idea, but it's a really good idea, and you don't mind listening to the one idea the whole time. Yeah, Continental Psyop, they would have tracks like around and like through the audience too and stuff. So like,
That's actually insane.
and this is 1987. I don't know why there hasn't been a major remount of this. But I bring up
Entertainment has been in decline ever since.
exactly. They couldn't top this. And I bring up Starlight Express because I think that to me, and Cats, and the reason that I said that Cats reminded me of Phantom as I was watching it, is I think it's kind of like a window into the way that Andrew Lloyd Webber sees how he puts these shows together. And again, because I think that musicals are so hard to do, that it takes like a kind of crazy to actually be one of the people to make them together. And so I think you see a lot of that kind of, whatever you want to call it, neuroses, or like just his kind of tastes and point of view in the, like, that his approach, I think, is based to, you know, he's kind of like always a pretty wealthy guy and something, and I think that like he writes shows for people like him to take their families on like an event, or like you're on vacation and you go to the West, you're in London and you go to the West End, or you go to Broadway, you know, like he's making these to be like, I don't want to say like theme park attractions, but they need to really meet that scale. Yeah, that spectacle, Spanker Prime, exactly. That it's not just necessarily, like, the story is almost incidental to him, I think, at times. And he's much more about, like, I don't even, I've been saying this for a while, he's much more like a kind of like a vibe, where it's like, this is, you get to hang out in this show. If you get bored at a certain point, go to the bar, get a drink, or just check out. In a few minutes, something completely different is going to come at you, and it's going to be big and in your face, and maybe you'll like that more. And that's like Cats is a lot like that to me too.
I am going to have to do some reevaluating of Cats. You know, I see that people are very mad at me. I do think that,
I mean, it's not like
the actual like state, like the I'm a simple, I thought that Phantom was perfect.
Yeah,
I don't need these rollerblades.
Well,
I don't need 100 rollerbladers at a time.
Well, we can move on from the rollerbladers, but I think that, like, because with Phantom, well, first of all, so just off the bat, knowing that it's the longest running Broadway show ever, and it's this just mega hit success, I think that Andrew Lloyd Webber would probably consider it his magnum opus, both in terms of how successful it is and how it's kind of everything he's always wanted to put into a musical. Right. And maybe like the apex of what, in his eyes, it's not my favorite ALW. I mean, I do like it a lot. But
what is it? What is your favorite ALW?
It's Evita. I love Evita.
Got you.
Evita, in terms of, like, it's just such a really good, clear arc, kind of the whole way through. And it's just that ultimate, like, that classic, like, rise and fall story. Also, it's because Evita herself is, like, derived. I also love it because the ensemble is such a great part of it, because it's, like, really these three principal parts, but then Evita herself gets her power from how she's loved by the people. So, like, that ensemble actually is, like, and then when they start, like, kind of running her ragged, then she, like, gets, like, sick and declines. So it's this whole amazing... And the music is awesome. The original cast, the original Broadway cast, again, my girl Patti LuPone, and then also, of course, we stand, we worship the great Mandy Patinkin, of course, was. And that's when I think, when I was in high school and I was getting more into musicals, instead of just like doing them as plays and actually getting more into like musical theater as like an art in its own right or whatever, that when I was like listening to Andrew Lloyd Webber stuff, that Evita was much more like what called me, especially because I saw a part for myself in it at the time. I was like, ooh, I want to be Che. And now I don't actually think I could do Che. It's a little too high. But it's actually, so because like the part is sort of loosely supposed to suggest that it's Che Guevara, kind of, because like it's all like about Perón and Argentina, and like historically he was actually in Argentina as a youth at that time and stuff. So
okay,
so yeah, the guy from the t-shirts, everybody, he's in the, but like they don't actually
him.
Yeah, you know. But anyway, Phantom, the thing that surprised me about it, finally watching it after all these years, is how weird it is. It is, and it also surprises me that, like, I expected, obviously I knew there would be opera because it's like it takes place in an opera, but I didn't realize that it was so opera throughout, like not just the opera scenes. And I was surprised that there wasn't more rock actually, like because I mean the title song is definitely very
Right.
rock, and I love it.
Right. That's a vibe.
Oh, yeah.
That's a fucking vibe.
There's absolutely nothing wrong, with that title song. But yeah, it was, but it's much more operatic. So that's why it's great that to hear that like you'd still like hold on to it and love it, because to me, there's so many scenes that are just like, yeah, like you say, like people kind of like yelling at each other, but like in opera. And they're like backstage, but they're kind of fun because they are funny, like characters.
There's a lot of funny stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's extremely fun because it's poking fun at like these people who run these theaters, and then they make fun of the Italian duo there. I don't know what position singer they are.
Yeah, it's like, and it has that classic, like, the classic like diva and devo like couple that are like, vain and dumb, that are always really funny. Yeah, but the thing that's just insane to me about it is just like the sheer scale of it, just people. I mean, and also, like, so the production that Max and I watched is the 2011 25th anniversary live from the Royal Albert Hall in London.
Luxurious.
Yeah.
Ultimate luxury.
Like, huge. I mean, this thing, and like, I can't even, like, I don't even know what to compare it to. It is, like, really like an amphitheater, just enormous.
Unbelievable. The theater, the people in the theater are part of it. Mm-hmm. The whole place is fucking gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Well, is, and of course that's great because it's like, yeah, a big opera, and like it's an opera house, like where it's taking place. So yeah, it really serves it. But so because it had that, they pulled out all the stops. So there's like the ballet, it's like there's like 16 dancers or something in just the ballet parts, and they're only there to do these few ballet numbers. And then there's like like when they did the curtain call at the end, there are so many people before you get to any like of the named characters. There's just so many people have to come take bows.
Yeah.
And just like the logistics in terms, I mean, not just like the budget, but also like just managing that like amount of people, like that is, I can't imagine doing that once, let alone...
Definitely on a scale similar to Starlight Express.
Exactly. I mean, but that's the thing, is that that's only the kind of, at least during this time especially, that's what Andrew Lloyd Webber is trying to do. It's like he was making shows, and I mean, proof is in his bank account, because he's like, these are the shows that are going to really have legs. And it really changed the way people almost approach sort of what musicals kind of get pushed and get put on Broadway. And you think about, like, after that you have like Lion King, yeah, right. Wicked, and I don't know, what are some other ones? Now I'm coming to break. Like, even like now, like, your bigger shows like Kinky Boots or Book of Mormon or something are even like
Kanye's act.
Kanye's act. They have that in mind. Kanye should go on Broadway. I mean, that is the pivot for him. And now he's like a single guy. If he does like a one-man Broadway musical, ooh, Harrison. Harrison, get on the line with your man.
How he turned to Trump, and then how he turned away, and the process from beginning to end.
Oh yeah. He wouldn't have it.
We'll get there.
He wouldn't have it be one man. He would have probably about the same amount of people that
work on his albums.
No, that were in the Phantom of the Opera live at the Albert Hall. We'll have that same amount of people.
50 producers per album.
Oh yeah. Well, no, and he will stage it. It actually won't be on Broadway. It's going to be, you have to go to his ranch in Wyoming, but then it's like this huge outdoor, like ancient Greek style amphitheater that's like carved in like marble, and you have to like sit on this uncomfortable marble stone, but there's like there's like 20,000 people like all around this huge thing, and it's like him and like 50 half naked like beautiful women, just like.
And God actually speaks down from the clouds.
There's
to you.
actually an effect where like there's a hologram and it's like a cloud, and then the hand of God coming out of the cloud, and Kanye touches it. That's all in his. Harrison's gonna be the hip young pastor. Yeah, Kanye no more. I love that. So, Phantom of the Opera. But Phantom of the Opera has the scale of a Kanye show vibes. I mean, actually bigger. I mean, like, there are so many ideas in this thing, like, number to number to number. And, like, the scale was incredible. Now, I will say, my disappointment in this specific production is that going in to Phantom of the Opera, I knew one thing and one thing only about the show itself, besides the few songs that I knew. And that was that the big fucking chandelier is going to crash down to the stage. And it does not happen in this version.
It killed people if it did.
It just sparks and stuff. It just sparks up in the air.
I know. That's interesting.
You have to have it rigged to crash.
I actually don't remember that, but you're right. A crash is crazier for sure.
Yeah.
Although I think the amount of people that were hanged, not hung, that's a reference.
Yeah, the catwalks, the fly master got hanged.
Wasn't there multiple people that were throughout? Wasn't it?
What were the murder methods? Well, so let's back up here. Let's get into like sort of how the show sort of is and why it's so fucking weird. First of all, it's so weird because it's so operatic in everything it's doing, and it's also so French in its origins that I think that adds to it being very weird. Oh wait, does Phantom wear a mask? I didn't know that. I'm just learning this. Did you know that Phantom, that he wears a mask in the show?
What the hell are you talking about? Of course he does.
Oh, that's a mask?
Yeah.
I was confused. No, I'm just.
The original name of it was called Masked Phantom of the Opera.
the Phantom and his mask. They like have to put it in. Oh, now there's a musical, Max.
What?
The Mask.
Oh, did they really do a musical?
I don't know.
Of it?
I don't think so. No, I'm pretty sure they have not.
Well, it's already got some musical numbers.
Yeah,
so you
exactly.
could just, like kind of
the Cuban Pete.
Because like, look, the original movie, I haven't seen it, but I'm sure it hasn't aged well.
No, it's not very good.
Made,
actually,
like a really creative and intelligent like version of the Mask, and like
actually
just incorporate.
Funny because
yeah,
that's the problem with the original. I mean, besides like sort of some good
kind of gimmicky,
some good physical comedy and like faces and impressions of Jim Carrey. Like he does have some few laughs in there, but just as it's also very weird, but not very funny. Just like in terms of the writing and the jokes, I think.
Right. I haven't seen it since I rented it from Blockbuster as like a 13-year-old or something like that.
I just recently rewatched it on like HBO. And I was like, I still enjoyed it because it was like the nostalgia factor was enough, but I certainly am not going to be in a rush to watch it again.
I feel like even when I was a kid, I was like it felt like a weird hollow movie, but
because it was in that like that crazy 1995 of Jim Carrey's where he did Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber, and even I think when I was young and I loved those movies, I was like, well, that's the weakest of those three, like.
Oh, right, for sure.
So Ace Ventura super does not hold up, especially the end is very bad.
Right.
But Dumb and Dumber still pretty much holds up. Still pretty good. Anyway, Phantom of the Opera. This is a show about musicals. So wait, I'm still confused about the very beginning, actually, of this like weird auction. Well, first of all, it was super.
Is that supposed to be after? Is that supposed to be after all of this happened?
I think that is. It's like a forward, so you're seeing like the bits of the props that are gonna like come into play.
And so, who do you think that guy was?
That's what
that
I
was
don't.
bidding.
Well, that's what I don't know. Although I will say, and I'm going to show you a clip of this also later, and I'm very excited to show you this. And Harrison is going to be very excited to watch this. Andrew Lloyd Webber did, and this is going to blow your mind, Max. So get ready. Andrew Lloyd
Wow.
Webber, he did do a sequel to Phantom of the Opera.
Shut your fucking mouth.
It's called Love Never Dies. And it takes place in like a future where Christine and Raul have come to America or something for some reason. And then the Phantom like follows there, and it like takes place in like a dark carnival kind of place. And Christine also has
Cool.
a child, and you learn in the course of the show
It's the Phantom's child.
it's the Phantom's child.
Son of a gun.
So he got it in somewhere in this show, and I was looking for when it was.
Let's go Phantom.
Actually, no.
Phantom.
We really shouldn't with just the how
Look, it's creepy,
really
dog.
assaulty
It's a
it
little
kind of
creepy.
is.
I'm
It's
making
pretty
some
stalkery.
jokes.
Yeah, we're just
I'm
joking.
making some jokes, all right? But you're right.
I mean, but
It
also,
was a little creepy.
but I also think that this is why this show is so huge. Is like, so thinking of it in that like frame of like, this is for, you know, tourists and like wealthy people in the city to take their family to and stuff. It's like, so there's stuff in there for mom, there's stuff in there for dad, there's, you know, and then why this show really took off is because the teen girl set. I mean, they all want to be Christine, and also just like it's that forbidden love, and it's like that. So if you saw the show when you're like 12 or 13 or something, like forget about it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Am I wrong? I mean, cancel me if I'm not trying to like be too like overgeneralize here, but I think
No,
that
I don't have any
just-
issue with it. Look, there's
just in looking
Yeah,
up
go
like the gifs and stuff of this, like there's such a fandom. There still is like people that like are fully like shipping and you know, writing all the fanfic and everything. Still, like
I was very emotional watching this weird fucked up dude do his terrible shit, and it was very powerful. The whole
Thank
thing
you,
is
Bing. And I
fucking
shouldn't say
super
teen
crazy.
girls. I would say a lot of like teen people of all genders. I think probably would
Yeah.
get some tinglings here. Yeah.
No, and yeah, it's very sexual
Mm-hmm.
and also fucked up stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's that forbidden, that's that danger element. You know, he's obviously a very bad guy, and he's tortured.
He's
and
kind of
dark.
brooding and
Yeah.
sexy. I say take off that mask and let me touch it.
But now, Christine though is an interesting. She's kind of a nothing, isn't she? I mean, like, because the whole thing is that she's like under his spell too. Like, who is Christine really? Am I wrong?
Christine is written that way, perhaps.
Right.
But
Which
if we
is
have fun with it,
Which is a
like,
common problem
perhaps-
in musical theater in general. And this is.
But
Yeah.
if you want to explore it,
Mhm.
okay, and make up your own reality a little bit, this is a woman who perhaps, you know, didn't have the easiest life. You know, her father was like her best friend.
Mhm.
What the fuck's
Right.
what's up with, you know? And then the father's dead, and like this guy's like you know,
Yeah.
it's all a little fucked up and weird, my man.
I guess, yeah, that is sort of her deal, is that she's kind of been on her own. She's a bit like resilient. She's kind of like, and then also just because I guess she's had to work harder, like because she's been on like so independent or whatever, she's just naturally very gifted too as well. Because she starts in the dance like with the dancers.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't doing some like easy dancers. Like this is another like talk about a demanding role, because like you need to
Right.
be able to both do those dances and then sing like both this classical in the rafters soprano and some more like pop musical theater kind of songs too, like ballads and things. And you need to be able to do all of that. So very tough role, and a great showcase part. And I think Sierra Bages in the production that we saw was fantastic.
Who is that?
Sierra Bages is who played Christine.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very impressed with this whole cast. It's so wonderful.
Right, and then
The Phantom
Yeah.
fucking killed it.
the Phantom is the great Ramin Karimloo, and he was also known from the Broadway revival of Les Mis, where he played Jean Valjean. That was in the past decade or so. I think it might have been like 2012-ish, I want to say.
Do you like Les Mis?
It was 2011 Binging Games. So Les Mis is like the show that first got me into like, oh, I actually like musicals themselves and I want to do them and get more into them, kind of, was when I saw Les Mis on Broadway. And that is also very much of this same time and like school of thought. In fact, one of the people that Andrew Lloyd Webber brings out at the end of this, or does he bring him out? Or yeah, is Cameron McIntosh, and that is a big name to know because he is also the producer of Les Mis, Miss Saigon. I might be forgetting some other ones. So he's like super mega producer, and then the director of the original Phantom of the Opera is a little man by the
Tiny Rick?
Tiny little man. No, he's a normal sized man, actually. He's not small. A man by the name of Harold Prince. Probably the most legendary Broadway director-producer of all time. Little shows, Fiddler on the Roof, Sweeney Todd Company. I could go on and on. Just huge, his, probably, the most, famous for being just an itty little tiny boy.
Dude in the whole industry.
He's like Bob Balaban size, so just a little guy. Just a whole bunch of heavy hitters coming in here. So and then you have the origin of this show, I guess, is Andrew Lloyd Webber always wanted to do like a big romance musical, just like a really kind of a romantic epic kind of thing. And he thought about Phantom of the Opera. He got together with Harold Prince. They watched the film versions of Harold of the Opera, the one from like the silent film one, and then the one from the 40s or whatever. And they were like, man, I don't know, I don't really see it. And then a couple years go by, and he finds like some old like books of like the original one of the original editions or whatever of the novel Phantom of the Opera, and he sees a lot more in there that, oh, I can see this, where this sort of romance will come in. And so that's sort of, then it all spiraled from there. And from there, he makes this show that is insane. I mean, it is, I don't even know how to describe, it's one of those things of just sometimes seeing a ton of people, especially when they're in these insane masks and outfits, and that alone can just be the most awesome thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's also just so much other tech elements on it as well.
Dude, the set was so fucking cool.
Oh, I'm sure that he borrowed a lot from classical and opera composers. I mean, I also think that he is I think I would describe Andrew Lloyd Webber as a fancy boy. And I kind of think he's always been a fancy boy. In fact, at the end, another thing that he says when he comes out at the end of this production was that he's like, I remember when my mum took me here when I was just a little boy, 5 or 6, and I saw Beethoven's Third performed here, and and that was the most amazing thing. And he's like, and so I think that he's kind of always loved that kind of world, and maybe even slight chip on his shoulder of wanting to kind of be able to punch, you could say maybe above his weight, because he's done these pop musicals and now he's I'm going to do a serious opera. But I bet that a lot of the musical stuff in there is in his stuff that's in his brain, in the same way you steal a joke because you heard it but you forgot it, and then it's the same sort of thing. But yeah, let's talk more about the man himself, the titular Phantom, because I'm also still confused as to his whole deal, where his whole thing coming from, and I guess they leave a lot out from the book.
He's a genius. He's a genius that was born disfigured.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And he served for some of the greatest icons of the world, creating inventions and composing music, but he's just so ugly.
that he has to hide away, and that he like basically pulls the string of this entire like huge opera company of just dozens and dozens of people that like bow to his whims based on, you know, whatever he can just get them to do. And if they don't, then they
does
get
he
murdered.
own the building? How does he? Is it just?
Well,
is
that's
it just
the thing.
Only threats.
So the like that lady that like kind of runs the theater, right? The like was always in like the black dress. She seems to like have a whole understanding with him and like a whole like prior like relationship. He is a good voice teacher. He's a very good voice teacher. He taught Christine everything she knows, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, but I also love though when he like then shows up in the second act and like it's like you're going to do this show and like throws down the whole like score and everything.
Yeah. And they're all like sweating. They're like, "Yes, Phantom."
I mean, it is like it's pretty good. Like that's the thing is that so on Halloween I watched a couple of like Halloween musicals and I watched Jekyll and Hyde. Which you might like Jekyll and Hyde, and it's fun. The production that there's the recording and that we watched stars one David Hasselhoff as Jekyll and Hyde. So it's worth watching for that alone. And
here's the thing: I think the music is the key. Is that true for you too?
Well,
is that the most important element?
So yeah, so it is in that it needs to be like the what really colors the world in addition to the entire like feeling of why this show exists, like what is being told here. That the music needs to, for me, do a lot and to really like take it to like a special kind of musical level, which this show did 100% because he was so leaning into that operatic scale and everything in it, that even like, you know, there were parts where I was like, okay, this part's kind of silly or maybe annoying, like just like this minute or so.
And I feel like I'm gonna just my brain right now is having too many questions. But like, how does this compare to other musicals? I feel like other musicals have more numbers, and then this one relies on fewer songs. Is that true?
I don't know. Like, well, it's
I feel like there's like 5 or 6 songs for this whole fucking thing.
So, not necessarily. I mean, like, the number of songs isn't necessarily like how musical it would be considered. I think because especially a lot of these songs are these huge kind of like, you know, that have like movements that like then this person comes in and does here and then it returns back to that theme and it's like this whole long, and so these like whole scenes that are all like sung through or whatever, and then it's not an opera. It's not completely sung through. There are dialogue scenes too, and that's what was interesting to me. Was I was like, so why are some scenes dialogue and then why are some sung? Because to me, like, that's always like, that is really interesting. I'll have to rewatch. That's but I do think that there's a logic to it. After a while, I started to kind of see it, and I was like, it was like, I keep bringing it up, but the sort of backstage drama was when it clicked to me, where I was like, oh, they're singing this because this is an opera too, like this drama, and then when they're not, like, and so this is like the biggest thing with musicals is that you don't just sing to sing necessarily. You know, maybe some shows do, but for the really good ones that I like, the song exists for a reason. It's a character realizing something or learning something or changing in some way or setting the scene, right? Or there's a reason for this song to exist, and so I bring up Jekyll and Hyde because that's, I think, a less skillful composer named Frank Wildhorn, who does write great melodies and some really, really great music, but his songs are very one idea, and then it's just 10 verses. Now, Andrew Lloyd Webber, his one idea in a song will be like a really interesting musical idea, like a really weird use of time signature that doesn't even make sense. Like Masquerade, I think, is like one of the best songs because it's so like this weird, like constantly changing time. Actually, I want to show a clip of Masquerade from the exact production we watched, so that everybody can just get a sense of this.
Heartbreaking when Masquerade is played from the jukebox.
Oh yes, and the little monkey guy. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. Play this clip because that is and his mask when he shows up there is so awesome. Oh man, that like devil skeleton mask.
Yes.
Oh
yes, dude. I had so much fun watching this thing. It actually kind of blew my mind, and every time I like get deep into one of these, I'm like, I need something that is equally as good I want to continue consuming.
Right.
So this is an absolute treat. And I'm glad I'm thinking about this kind of stuff because it nourishes me.
Right. Well, and it's welcome Newt Gingrich. Love you, especially your politics. Anyway.
Oh, dude.
What? Oh, wait. Is he not? Oh, sorry. I don't know. Anyway. This is, especially now we can't go to theater. And I have here, I'll play it. This is, I'll play one for free. A sound alert of when we might be able to do theater again.
Wow.
Well, maybe next year.
That's Catherine Zeta-Jones. Maybe next year we'll be able to actually do some theater. But I love having this opportunity to kind of like evangelize and be like, and I'm glad that you could kind of, and I'm glad that I like have an excuse to watch this show that like I would put off because I want to see it live. That's how I want to see it, but now I can't. And so now I'm like allowing myself to just, however I can see these shows I've never seen, like Book of Mormon was one that I watched a few months ago. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Just see it. Like at this point, because who knows at this point when I'll be able to do it again. And it's been really great to just kind of reawaken that in me too. So yeah, I'm glad you had a great time watching it.
So do you think, Mon of La Mancha is what's next for me?
Well, actually, this is funny. Somebody at my work was asking me for a recommendation for a show, and I said that one, and I was like, but I don't know, because the movie is not good. I don't know if somebody can find a good slime tutorial of that. Let me know. The one that I want to see, I mean, the production that made me fall in love with it and made it one of my favorite shows, just like, you when you were a kid, like, was, I want to say it was 2013 or 2014, at the Shakespeare Theater here in D.C., starred Anthony Warlow, who was also a Phantom of note. He was one of the Phantoms that came on at the end.
Very cool.
Yeah, and he was in it, and truly just one of the most spectacular shows. I mean, just in terms, it was just phenomenally done, and it's one of these shows that's just like a complete work that's like conceived to be like, and it's one act, which I also always loved, no intermission actually, because I don't know, it's like you just engage with the show and then it's like that's it, and then you leave. Intermission, and then like the show's like a Phantom, and these sort of Andrew Lloyd Webber kind of shows. They are, and this was my, not necessarily complaint, but another thing that surprised me about this is that the ending just kind of is abrupt. Like, this is just kind of like a series of, okay, that's the end. And it's like, it's, and I've had a great time, and I've loved everything I've watched, and then I'm just like, oh, okay, great. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I do think that that's just like a completely, as opposed to like my sort of pretentious favorites of a Stephen Sondheim, that it's not, it's much more agonized over like what this whole thing is, whereas he's like, okay, we need to have another ballad because it's been like a few songs, like we haven't had a ballad since the beginning of the act, so let's put another one here, and that's right. And that's fine, because he's like, oh yeah, this is a great ballad, we should put it in.
That's interesting. I that was a big part. What I was curious is, how does this fit in with other, compared to other dude, the ending of Jesus Christ Superstar. Mm-hmm. What about that?
That's amazing. I mean, like the actual song "Superstar" is one of like the great treasures of his entire canon. I think of musical theater. Like that song, just, I mean, there's a reason
watch
that
the,
when I'm watching
yes, sir.
Go Off Kings and somebody pays for Cheeto Christ Stupid Czar, I'm not that upset because it's a great melody.
Did you happen to see the version of it that was on television recently with John Legend?
Yes.
Who sucked, kind of.
He was okay. He was fine. He was
he
kind of
was okay.
mediocre. But
He was okay.
I actually loved that. I loved that
Me
TV
too.
production.
Me too. But just I feel like that really like this fucking like this like the crucifix like becoming.
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh man, and then him like
that-
getting risen up, and oh yeah, that was.
and then you they like and then you hear like that just some that music at the end is fucking heart destroying and like not the just it's fucking brutal. The end of fuck. It's
Well,
beautiful.
and then it just
it's
has him
incredible.
just being like, to you I commend my spirit, or whatever, and it's just like, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like after you've had this huge production number and all that, and it's like this really like small and sad like thing. Yeah, and so like my and Superstar is kind of a similar, I think, and Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Are you familiar with that show at all, Max?
I'm familiar, but I couldn't tell you anything about it. I don't know if I probably heard some of the music, but I couldn't. I don't know if I could sing it now.
So that was Andrew Lloyd Webber's first show. Literally, its first production, I think he was 19, I want to say. It was like 1974, 75 or something. And
Crazy.
so, but it is, and people hate on it a lot. And they're not wrong to, because it's annoying, because it's a kids show. It is like, and it's a religious kids show. Like it's like a show, like it's a show to tell people like a story, old story from the Bible, for kids. But it's really well, like there's great songs in it, like Close Every Door, and like there's a reason that people know like the many colors of the coat, because it's a good song. It was red and yellow and marble and pink and blue and silver and island and gold and ochre and pink and blue and yellow and so
I don't think I know that one.
but there's
I think that I'm starting to wonder how important is the I guess it also has to be to my liking, but how important is the story? Like I'll just can I listen to the soundtrack of that, or should I watch?
like I think like stuff like his shows, for the most part, yes, because they are kind of,
they're huge.
well, they are just, especially like Jesus Christ Superstar, and this is like sort of a lot of his shows, is they're just like a series of events. I mean, like Joseph has a clear narrative of like, whatever, the story of Joseph, but like even that, like for me, like when I think of Joseph, I'm like, oh, here's the song where it's like a French song where it's like Zos Canandes, and then that's like, oh, here's the Elvis song where it's the Pharaoh and he's like pretending to be Elvis, and it's like every song has like its clear like idea, and it's like, and it's completely different from the one before, and it's like a whole series of just like kind of peaks like that just like go, and it's like Candy or something in a way, which I love Candy. I don't fucking care. And so that's sort of how Phantom felt for me too, was that I was loving it the whole time, and then I was like, and then it was over, and it wasn't like I had a stomachache or anything, but I was like, oh, I mean, but like I loved it, but it didn't fill my soul in the same way that like when I watch like, I don't know, like Sunday in the Park with George, or like
Interesting. But yeah, it is an extremely fun ride.
Yes.
Just the setting is so cool and creepy and fucked up and compelling. Everything about it is just so compelling to me. Can I go from this to the Bible story of Joseph?
Here's
and
what
the Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Okay, here's what I'm recommending to you, Max. And
yes.
And if you want a second opinion on this was what I had Jack watch when he did his episode of Musical Theater is Good, actually. And it's this exact same production that he watched. Is Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Not the movie, which is all right. It's not the best. But
Because I've seen the movie and I don't know if I was blown away.
well, the movie does a number of things wrong. That it's too long to get into. But if you can find it was filmed for PBS. It was like 1981 or so, with Angela Lansbury. That is the one to watch. And that
Got you.
also was directed by Harold Prince, and an incredible staging. And
Who did Harold Prince direct Phantom?
yes,
Is that what you're saying? Gotcha.
and I think well, yeah, you saw the movie, so you know the story. But like, I think you will really vibe with. I mean, and what the original show has that the movie like doesn't is that it's like this really broad kind of style that is so fun. Like they're kind of doing these sort of like very.
I think also the idea of doing a lot of these as movies is just probably a cash grab, because I don't see it as an important addition to this world, right? Like I feel like what makes these so special is feeling the theater vibe. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I have often said, and it's one of I've said it on this show, that most movie musicals, especially in the past 30, 40 years, are bad. Like most, like almost all. And
Love it.
and because
Willing to believe it without any issues.
because it's like you say, they are looking to cash in. They're looking to, hey, let's get a lot more people to see this. Like the one that I think of a lot is the producers, not the original producers.
Oh my god!
that
The
was-
original producers has some issues, but when I was a kid,
Oh, I
it
love-
was my favorite
Same.
thing ever.
And I saw it on
Um,
Broadway too, and I loved it because I liked the original movie. But then when I saw, then it got made into a movie again. Shrek the Musical is by Janine Tesori. I don't really like Shrek the Musical, but Harrison will probably defend it here in a second, Mega. So, and there is Shrek the Musical. No, but the producers they made a movie of the Broadway musical, and
I saw it and I was.
It's
I
bad.
Think I think my stomach turned.
It's-
Actually, I think I didn't know what to do with my brain. I felt like I was watching what was the rot in the world that I couldn't describe. I feel like I didn't know what to do with it, and I didn't want to know what to do with it.
Right, and literally was, and especially because I had seen the Broadway show, and then I went and saw like the movie, and I was like, what the fuck? They just put a camera on, like, they just did this show on a soundstage and put a camera on the exact staging, and it's Susan Stroman, the original director of the show, directed the movie as well. It's her only movie she's ever directed, and it was because she just had to be like, okay, yeah, go, you guys know the number, and then we'll have to just put Will Ferrell
Right.
and Uma Thurman into it, but otherwise,
Oh,
the rest,
what the fuck?
otherwise the rest of the cast has all done it. It's fine. So it was just really easy. But yeah, and they don't think about. So they either go that route or they go the Rent route, which Rent is a little better, I think, because it actually is trying to make a movie, but it's also Chris Columbus, and he's not the most imaginative best director. And so it does.
Never saw it.
And it also makes the mistake of also casting mostly the original cast, who are all brilliant actors, and I don't want to, like... Also, I want to apologize. Belated apology. Mary Wiseman, my very best friend, was on this show in December, and she's on Star Trek Discovery, and we were talking about the history of Star Trek actors that were, also did musical theater. Brent Spiner, Data, and I just went through a bunch of them, and we did all these videos, and it was all great, and then we moved on, and I forgot to mention on Star Trek Discovery, Anthony Rapp from the original cast of Rent. So I'm giving him he is Mark. He originated Mark. That's the template. So he's brilliant. But also, they made the Rent movie a full 10 years after they first started working on the Broadway show. That is a show about people being young and in New York, and now they're all in their late 30s. And it's just that's another thing that's weird about it. But the other thing is that it just doesn't know what it is as a movie. And so it is just kind of just putting all the stuff together. And the only movie...
What about Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say the
Continue
only movie musical from the past 10 years that I've really loved has been Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, because it was written to be a movie. It was only ever going to be a movie, and so they did the complete whole thing with it. And it's like the Godfather 2 of Mamma Mia. It's a lot of fun. I love Mamma Mia too. That's one of my favorite movie musicals, certainly of the past 25 years or so.
Crazy. This is also going into the notes. What about Les Mis? What about when they did Les Mis?
So Les Mis, now that movie musical is dog shit, and that's the other thing that was so funny.
That's good, because I watched some of it and I was like, this isn't helping me like this.
So he had one idea, and that one idea was very little makeup, make everybody very dirty, very, very close on people's faces. And it mostly doesn't work, except
Weird.
for I Dreamed a Dream, which is a banger. It's one of the best musical theater, female ballads.
That was too easy. That was a gimme.
And it has a great actor, Anne Hathaway, and she kills it. And it's a one-shot, slow-mo, and that song is fantastic, but the rest of the movie is just the most incompetently directed thing ever. And so then I was like, so when they gave him Cats, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be so bad, and it was. But I was excited. Yeah, I think they did they definitely recorded live, especially Anne Hathaway and stuff, because she's got her snot drooling from her nose, and you can hear it as she's singing. So you're like, oh yeah, no, this was recorded live, because you can hear the bubbly of her snot as it drips. She's brilliant in that movie. I love her in that movie.
I sat next to her at Night Market.
Oh, wow.
And we got better service because they didn't even recognize her, and I eat there all the damn time. Fuck you, Anne Hathaway.
There you go. There you have it. She did also have one of the most obnoxious Academy Award acceptance speeches of...
She did. She seems kind of weird.
She said
or crazy, maybe.
She got up to the podium, and she held onto her statue, and she just looks at it, and she goes, "It came true." And I remember I was watching it live, and I think I just screamed. I think I was just ah! What the? Because it was so it was just such a rehearsed thing.
Weird.
Okay.
Very weird.
Before we go, I do want to just watch a few more clips. Okay, we do have to watch tomorrow.
Drop them on me, baby.
Whatever it is. Love Never Dies.
Do you like I'm reminded by just the still that you're about to put up there. Do you like Nightmare Before Christmas?
I'm not the biggest fan of Nightmare Before Christmas, especially the music is some of the songs are okay, but I think some of them also suffer from that sort of recitative thing you were talking about, where it's just we need the character to sing these things, so it's yes, ha ha ha, ba ba ba, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it's kind of feels like the songs suffer because they're I don't know, they just didn't come up with the fun angle for the song, but they were but we need it to be a song. But there are some. I mean, Oogie Boogie is great, and What's This?
I saw it live, and it was with that guy.
Oh wow, Ken Page, is that his name? Was that it?
I'm not sure, but
I think he is a big Broadway guy too.
Cast. It was at the Hollywood Bowl.
That's who it is. Okay, here is The Beauty Underneath from Love Never Dies. Now this is the Phantom singing to who he now knows is his son. Yeah.
Oh.
He wasn't ready to see it, Dad. Don't
laugh at that.
He wasn't ready yet, Dad. Okay, we do need to just... There was, of course, a movie. And we just need to hear... I just want to hear just this little bit of Gerard Butler at the beginning of it.
Oh.
There's one... This... CNC. I love that. CNC. Shit. And this is a slow song, but this is such a dirge how he's doing it right now. It's he's in molasses or something. It's so slow.
Right.
It's Molasses Boy. Okay. Anyway, it's not that good. Look at Emmy Rossum, though. She's, of course, always wonderful to see. Now, I do want to, just so everybody can get a sense, and I would seek out this production. You can find it, like, on Amazon and stuff like that. I don't know if it's, like, streaming free, but if you find it
Highly recommend.
However your
very,
sources.
very fun way to spend your time.
If you want to find a way to see this show, I would recommend this production. But let's watch a little bit of Ramin. So this is now in the second act, and he's like forced them to do this opera. We like barely talked about the story, but who gives a shit? It's Phantom of the Opera. Go watch it. But this is so the second act. He's like made them do this opera, and then he has basically killed the Devo, the like male star of it, and taken on like his costume or like another. And so now she thinks she's singing with the actor, but it's actually the little bit to just give a sense of how good these folks are. This is a great production. So I think that we can conclude that this show, and by extension, all of musical theater, is good, actually. Max,
I have to agree.
any final thoughts before we go on Phantom, on musicals?
You know, I was going to ask for some recommendations. You gave them to me.
I can give you a whole watch list of good shit.
I'm going to be, talking to you about that, and I fucking loved this. I love this creepy, fucked up masterpiece, and
I think you'll
appreciate you having me on.
I think you'll like Sweeney Todd a lot too. It's very different.
I'm definitely excited to see that because
it's a very different
seen the
school of
movie
thought.
it, and I don't believe that the movie could possibly. I want to see what we got here today. I want to feel like I'm in that audience, or something. I like the theater.
Yeah. Yeah, make a theater for yourself, everybody, as best as you can. The one thing I'll say about Sweeney Todd and Sondheim in general is that he's very much not in the Andrew Lloyd Webber school, where like he is not. I mean, he writes beautiful songs in their own right, but he is not necessarily trying to make the love ballad of Sweeney Todd that needs to be in there. There needs to be another duet with these characters. Like those things happen if the characters need them to happen in the show. But it's a very wholly different point of view of a musical sort of composer. So I think that it'll be cool for you to get that contrast, but also a very dark, cool story too. So Max, I love anybody that lets me like just nerd out about musicals at them. And
dude,
you've been a great.
No, this is such a blessing for me, honestly. This is really made me think about I just need more stuff. I can't just sit here with the shit I already know about. And actually, this is a special art form, and I think I do think that's true, and I want more of it. Thank you so much for helping me broaden my mind.
Hey,
and Lin-Manuel Miranda sucks, right?
I mean, okay, we're gonna have to go an extra half hour. No, I'm just kidding.
He's talented, but he sucks.
He's very talented. He's a very talented composer. I mean, Max, have you listened to Moana? Come on, you gonna tell me the music in Moana isn't good as shit?
Hey, it's me, Lin Miranda. I don't know how to do Lin Miranda.
Well,
but he's the singer on a Moana now.
I mean, here's what I'll say about it.
Musical theater.
Moana is good.
Musical theater.
Oh, he's saying nothing about it.
Good, actually. It is
he's playing a melody.
I'm playing a song. Sorry, maybe you can't hear it.
Oh shit.
Musical theater is good. It's good, actually.
Okay.
Just musical. It's good. No, I mean, he's a good composer. I have a lot of issues with Hamilton as like, yeah. But I also think even Hamilton is a very well constructed musical just on its own. But that's a whole other can of worms. It's both one of the most brilliant things ever, and it's also very harmful and terrible in equal measure.
Right. No, that's no. I'm glad to ruin this show by ending it with this.
Well,
but my friend Maddie would be very happy to know that because he really likes it. but he's also very conflicted, like
Yeah.
he should be.
Well, it's a banned word in the chat here for a reason, because it's just it's a whole can of worms. So we just prefer.
It's two can of worms.
Yeah.
I opened the can of worms right at the end.
You did. You stepped right onto the landmine.
You handled it. You handled it. Oh my god! You handled it very well.
Thank you. Well, it gave me an excuse to preview another one of the new sound alerts. Thank you to everybody who watched. People who subbed. If you subbed, you now have your own Steven Sondheim Twitch emote. So please feel free to be liberal with that. I love to just. I throw that in like the Go Off Kings chat and just like for fun. Okay, everybody, this has been such a fun episode. It's so fun to be back. Next week's going to be so awesome. I'm so excited. Molly Lambert's going to be here, and we're going to be talking about a movie musical, Rock of Ages, the movie musical. We got Tom Cruise.
Shit.
We got Alec Baldwin. We got Julianne Hough, that amazing font of charisma. Just kidding. She is a wooden stick of like that amount. Anyway, tune in for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, everybody, thanks for being here, and we will see you next week. Thanks again. Max, what do I do at the end? Oh, yeah, this one. Goodbye.